Thai cuisine is one of the very popular cuisines that we have in Hawaii, and of the cuisine, one of the really popular dishes that people always order when they go to restaurants is Thai papaya salad. And so we thought we'd make that here today. It's a pretty simple dish to make. It's even easier if you have certain pieces of equipment, but still doable if you don't have them. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to talk about is the papayas here. You want to use green papayas, and usually they're long Thai papayas, and if you can't find those, the regular solo papayas are perfectly good to use. You just want to make sure you're looking for one that's really green. And so I have one here. This is a good one to use. The important thing is it has to be hard, rock solid, and very deep green. If it starts to have like a yellowish color break, you're going to probably end up with a more ripe papaya than you want. So it has to be very, very dark green. Now, to start with, you're going to go ahead and peel them. And I've started peeling the outside with the peeler, and I'll just go ahead and sort of finish the peeling so you can see how that happens. But you just take your peeler and you just run it across here, and you're just going to get off all that hard outer skin. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to grate this. So what happens is, with my mandolin that I have, and if you don't have one of these, to me, it's sort of a must-have. They're pretty inexpensive, and you can find them, in Asian stores and in kitchen supply stores. But you're going to set it on the julienne or the very thin cut, and you're going to I hold the papaya with a paper towel, just like this, and then I'm going to go ahead and grate it all the way up until I get to the center where I start to see the seeds, and then I'll rotate it and grate it and rotate it and grate it. So it goes basically just like this. I'm going to rotate it. And you can see here that we have really nicely, finely grated papaya that's good to go. Now, the reason why it's also important to use a very green papaya is if it's starting to get too ripe, it's going to be too soft to grate with the mandolin. Now, for those of you that do not have a mandolin, it's still a very doable dish. What you want to do is use your knife, and you're going to cut very thin slices off of the papaya, like that. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut them into strips. So then you have your handmade strips in the same way that you would have for using the mandolin. So now we have our papaya. I have 8 ounces here, which is roughly 1.5 papayas that I used. And then we're going to go ahead and start making the dressing. So I have here a mortar and pestle, and we're going to go ahead and pulverize some ingredients together. If you don't have one, that's totally fine too. We just chop all the ingredients up, put it in a bowl. But I wanted to show you how you could do this and what gets even the better development of flavor. So I have garlic that I'm going to go ahead and just rough chop to get the process started. And then I'm going to add this here. I have some dried shrimp that I'm also going to add in. And again, I want to sort of just rough chop this to get the process going so that it goes quicker. That's going to go into the mortar here, or pestle. And then we have chilies. Because we're in Hawaii, Hawaiian chili peppers work great, but you can use serranos, you can use Thai chilies, you can use jalapenos. So really, whatever chilies you can get your hands on is what you can use, and just go ahead and adjust the how much you put into the heat level that you want. So I like spicy, so I'm going to put one of these in there. Now this dish you'll see in restaurant menus typically in the appetizer section, but in Thailand it's eaten as a main course as well. It can be eaten as a side dish, but it's also great, paired with chicken, pork, fish. It's light, it's crisp, and it has relatively low amount of fat. So on the good for you spectrum, it's pretty decent. Now what I'm going to do here is I am working all of this together to make a paste. And the key here is you want to really get all of this incorporated well. And the reason this is a good tool to use is because it's really going to get all of the oils out of both of these items, and it's going to bring it together in a way that really, really captures all of the flavor. And I'm going to just keep going on this until I get a really, really nice, a really even nice sort of a mash of pepper and garlic and dried shrimp. Okay, so we've got the pepper, we've got the garlic, we've got the shrimp. It smells really good. Well, it's well blended together. It's really mashed very nicely. All of it's come together. We're gonna go ahead and finish the dressing now. So I have a mixing bowl here. I'm gonna go and put all of this into the mixing bowl. And then we're going to add some sugar. Now I'm using brown sugar, and the classic recipes typically call for palm sugar. You know, you can get palm sugar if you want, but I think it works great with light brown sugar. And this is something that's, you know, most people have in their homes, so it's an easy find. Then we have lime juice we're going to put in here. Go ahead and squeeze that in there. The important thing about this salad is that you want to have heat, you want to have garlic, you want to have some of that meatiness that the shrimp, and we're going to add some fish sauce in here is going to give you. We've got a little bit of sweetness, and then you're going to have the texture of the crunch from the papaya. And these papaya, because they're just a little bit starting to ripen just a little bit, is going to give us a little bit of residual sugar, which will be nice in the dish. So here I got my lime juice, I've got my sugar, we've got the paste that we've made, and now I'm adding fish sauce. And then I want to just go ahead and stir this until the sugar's dissolved and everything's come together. So it smells, this is a very, I mean, when I think of Thai food, there's a couple ingredients that make the dish come together, in my opinion. It's lime juice, it's fish sauce, it's the garlic, and it's the pepper heat. So when you're smelling this, to me, it smells exactly like what I would perceive or picture when I think of Thai food. We're gonna go ahead and add the papaya now. And then we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna lightly toss it together so all of the flavors can marry. The thing about this salad is when you're gonna make this, you kind of want to go ahead, put it together. If you want to prep this ahead, I would shred the papaya, keep the dressing separate, and then put it together right before I served it. And the reason why is once you combine the sugar and acid with the papaya, the sugar is gonna start to pull the moisture out of the papaya here, and then it's gonna over time start to make it soggy, softer, and wetter. So this is really best tossed right when you need it and then served. So this is looking good, it's nice and shiny. I'm gonna go ahead and taste some because we wanna, you know, when we're cooking, it's important to taste as you go and season as you go, and that's one of the big secrets of how the better cooks and the better chefs make good food is they're not just guessing, they're cooking, they're tasting, they're adjusting, because this is a process and you want to make sure that you're always sort of in touch with the process as you go along. And see, this tastes good to me. It's got some good heat, but I think it needs a little bit more acidity. And I'm going to put just a little bit more fish sauce. And then I think we'll be good to go. Now, this is the base, and there are many things you can do when if you want to dress it up, if you want to make it a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I have a tomato here. This is a Roma tomato, and I want to go ahead and just for some color, I want to add some color to this. So I'm going to take this tomato, I'm going to peel it, and we're going to go ahead and dress it up a little bit. So I'm going to take my tomato here, just really quickly. I'm going to cut some very thin strips. Whoops. And then we're going to put that in the salad. To give it some color. And the other thing I want to do is I'm going to add cilantro to this too, to bring more character and more depth to this salad. So we've got some really nice cilantro here. And again, the thing about cilantro, which is great, is, you know, this is considered a tender herb, so you can use the entire thing here. Don't just use the top. I would use the stem as well as the leaf, okay? So I'm gonna take some of this. We're gonna rough chop it. I'm gonna save some of this for garnish. I'm gonna go add this to the salad. We're gonna mix this in. And now we've started with a very good base salad, and now we're adding some things to it. Now we're just getting a little more colorful. It's got some more character into it. And then we're gonna go ahead and plate it. So, I have a plate here, and we'll just go ahead and nicely mound it. Again, once you got the flavor, you've got flavor now, we've got color, we've got some dynamic presentation we're gonna go for. We're gonna go for height here. Okay, so I'm putting in the bowl, and I got a blue bowl, so the contrast is really nice. We'll mound it here. Now, when you're serving food, the important thing too, once you've made beautiful food and you've got great color and you've got great texture, presentation is important. So, you know, I'm going to try to get some nice height in here. I don't want to push it down too much. I want to try to get some really pretty, some patterns going here. We're going to add some of the cilantro that we talked about here. Put some on the plate, and then we have roasted peanuts, and I'm going to just sprinkle some on there. And this is really, it's making me hungry, but here we go. This is, so we have here we have is our version of Thai papaya salad. We've got the papaya, tomatoes, we've got the fish sauce, we've got cilantro, lime juice, and I'm going to taste some of this here with all of my additions of cilantro and my tomatoes, and I'll put a little bit of some peanuts on here. This is awesome. Make this for your next get-together, and you're going to be the hit of the party. For more recipes like this, visit us at foodland.com.